A hot work permit is a formal authorization required for tasks that produce heat, sparks, or open flames, such as welding, cutting, grinding, or brazing. These activities pose significant fire and explosion risks, especially in environments with flammable materials. Below is a detailed guide to understanding and implementing a hot work permit system. A hot work permit is a document that ensures safety protocols are followed before, during, and after hot work. Its purpose is to prevent fires, explosions, and injuries, and to ensure compliance with OSHA, NFPA, and other safety standards. Common applications include construction sites, refineries, chemical plants, and industrial facilities. Key components of a hot work permit include work details, which specify the type of hot work, location, date, and duration of the task. A hazard assessment identifies flammable materials, gases, or liquids nearby and inspects for combustible dust, vapors, or ventilation risks. Safety precautions involve having fire extinguishers, fire blankets, or water supplies on-site, and assigning fire watch personnel during and after work. Protective equipment requirements include PPE such as flame-resistant clothing, safety glasses, and gloves. Authorization requires signatures from supervisors, safety officers, and workers. The steps in the hot work permit process begin with a pre-work inspection to clear the area of flammable materials and use gas detectors to check for explosive atmospheres. Permit issuance involves authorized personnel reviewing risks and approving the permit. A fire watch is designated to monitor for sparks or fires during work, continuing for 30 to 60 minutes post-work to detect smoldering hazards. A post-work inspection checks for residual heat, sparks, or damage. Safety measures for hot work include isolation using fire-resistant barriers to contain sparks, ensuring adequate ventilation to disperse fumes and gases, inspecting tools for leaks or damage, and having a clearly marked emergency plan with accessible fire extinguishers. Compliance standards include OSHA 29 CFR 1910.252, which is the U.S. standard for welding, cutting, and brazing safety, NFPA 51B for fire prevention during welding, cutting, and other hot work, and API RP 2009 for safe welding and hot work practices in the petroleum industry. Common hazards and their mitigation strategies include removing flammable materials and using fire watches to prevent fires and explosions, ensuring ventilation and using respirators to address toxic fumes, wearing welding helmets with shaded lenses to protect against UV exposure, and inspecting cables and grounding to mitigate electrical risks. Permit template essentials should include sections for work description and location, a hazard identification checklist, signatures of authorized personnel, fire watch details, and emergency contacts, as well as post-work inspection results. Best practices involve training workers to complete hot work safety certification, keeping permits on file for audits, and enforcing a zero-tolerance policy that prohibits hot work without a permit. A hot work permit isn't just paperwork, it's a life-saving tool. Always prioritize safety over speed.